The August 1925 fire at the Rushmore paper plant was covered in several stories. This from the Daily News offers some additional details. Monday, August 24, 1925, the Daily News, 30 fire groups battle $200,000 factory blaze. 30 fire companies crawled over hill and dale, through trenches of tin and wire and ash, to fight a stubborn fire yesterday in the Rushmore Paper Company's plant on the Greenpoint side of Newtown Creek, Brooklyn. Not only was the burning building hard to reach, but the sparks flew for blocks, keeping firemen busy putting out small blazes nearby. 4 alarms were turned in within 10 minutes after the fire was discovered at 4:40 p.m. by Thomas Martin, the company's watchman. Martin and John Spatz of 516 Morgan Avenue, Brooklyn, hauled 5 motor trucks and 2 touring cars out of the building before the firemen arrived. When they got there, the roof had fallen in, and thousands of tons of paper pulp outside of the building had been ignited by flying sparks. Police reserves from the Greenpoint, Bedford Avenue, Clymer Street, Poplar Street, Classen Avenue, Gates Avenue, and Wilson Avenue stations were hurried to the scene. Several firemen suffered minor hurts, but none needed the attentions of Dr. Harry Archer, Fire Department Surgeon, or Ambulance Surgeon William Lestrange of Greenpoint Hospital. Damage was estimated at from $200,000 to $300,000. Though the fire was under control after an hour's fight, the firemen remained much longer, pouring water into the ruins and on the burning stock outside. The factory is near Townsend and Gardner Streets, Brooklyn. Fire boats blocked. With the 4th alarm came Acting Assistant Chief John Davin from Manhattan, the Fire Department ambulance, and Deputy Chief Commissioner William Thompson in charge of Brooklyn firefighters. The firemen worked desperately. Not only were they hampered by low water pressure, but the fire apparatus could not go over the cluttered, hilly ground around the factory. A chemical works next door, 2 soap factories adjoining, and a coal yard nearby added to the danger. 1925 was not the first fire at the Rushmore paper plant, and a series of 1919 articles tell the story of the danger to the workers in these industries and the fallout for their families. Monday, June 2, 1919, the Brooklyn Daily Eagle. Explosion on car may kill truckman. Luxavage had gone to North 8th Street yards to get some machinery. A mysterious explosion on a flat car in the yards at the foot of North 8th Street and the East River today fatally injured Samuel Luxavage of 203 10 Ike Street, who had gone to get a piece of machinery for the Rushmore Paper Company of Meeker Avenue and Newtown Creek. Nobody knows yet what it was that exploded, nor where the explosive came from. One of the Secret Service men, who afterward went to the scene, ventured the opinion that it was a gun cotton case. Luxavage, a young truckman employed by the Hudson Brothers Trucking Company, had been sent to the Eastern District Terminal Company's freight yards to get the piece of machinery. He drove up to a point close to the flat car, which stood on a siding 300 feet from the riverfront, and enlisted the aid of 2 other men, William Quinn of 96 Meeker Ave and William Owens of 66 South 6th Street, to help him on the job. Then he got on the car and began to pull away some wire cable to get at the machinery. Suddenly there was a flash of flame and a loud explosion. It knocked him down and set his clothing afire. It also knocked down the men on the truck. The horses took the bits in their teeth and began to run, but freight handlers stopped them before they had gone far. Quinn and Owens were only stunned. When they arose, they saw Luxavage lying writhing on the flat car. They ran to him with horse blankets and, wrapping these about him, smothered the flames on his clothing, but not before he was so badly burned that the doctors said he would probably die. He was then taken to the Greenpoint Hospital. The explosion shattered the wooden side pieces in which the machinery was encased and damaged the machinery. A greatly magnified report of the occurrence reached the Bedford Avenue station, and the reserves were sent out. A representative of the bomb squad also went to the scene. The freight car reached the yards on Monday, but where it came from has not yet been determined. Sunday, May 29, 1921, the Standard Union. Widow sues 3 firms for death of husband. Mrs. Marianne Luxayer of 213 Green Street began suit in the Supreme Court, Manhattan, yesterday against the Schoenfield and Greenberg Company, Manhattan, Rushmore Paper Company, Greenpoint, and the Mass Woldenstein Company of Newark, whom she charges with having caused the death of her husband Samuel. She asks $50,000 damages. On June 2, 1919, Mrs. Luxayer alleges her husband, who was a truckman, was unloading large vats from a freight car in the Broken Eastern District Terminal, which had been shipped by the Mass and Woldenstein Company, which at that time manufactured gun cotton. One of the vats, she alleges, contained high explosives. As her husband was about to place the vat upon a truck, the widow charges, it exploded, causing her husband to receive severe burns about the body, which resulted in his death 3 days later. It is noteworthy that these articles are taking place shortly after World War I has ended. With the extreme trench warfare of that war, these articles greatly read like descriptions from the battlefields of many of those battles.